Last night at 3 a.m., you solved world hunger, won every argument you've ever had, and delivered the most eloquent speech in human history. All in your head, of course. We've all been there. You're lying in bed and suddenly you're Einstein. Meets Shakespeare, meets that person who always has the perfect comeback. Your thoughts flow like poetry. Every idea connects perfectly. You're explaining complex ideas with the grace of a master teacher. Then morning comes. Someone asks you a simple question, and you respond with the verbal equivalent of stepping on a rake. It's like your brain switched from HBO to public access cable. Here's what researchers have discovered about this. This isn't a personal failure. You're not broken. Studies show that literally every human deals with this. Experts found that everyone on Earth, from presidents to poets, experiences this exact same gap between their internal brilliance and what comes out of their mouth. Think about it. We can literally put people on the moon, but we can't say what we mean in a meeting. That's not a coincidence. That's just how we're built. Chapter 1. The Speed Limit Problem. Your brain speaks at fiber optic speed, but your mouth uses dial-up. Here's what researchers have found. Studies show your internal thoughts race along at over 1,000 words per minute. Some researchers measured it even faster, up to 4,000 words per minute when you're really in the zone. But human speech? We can only physically speak about 200 words per minute, according to speech studies. Do the math. That means for every word you speak, 5 to 20 thoughts are getting backed up in the mental traffic jam. It's like trying to empty the ocean through a straw. No wonder we feel frustrated. But wait, experts say it gets worse and funnier. Your tongue, lips, and vocal cords are basically running on hardware from 50,000 years ago. Anthropologists discovered we got Shakespeare's mind with a caveman's mouth. They found our ability to think complex thoughts developed way faster than our ability to speak them. Here's the kicker. When you're alone, thinking to yourself, there's no speed limit. Your thoughts can fly at full speed. But the moment you need to speak, boom. Traffic jam. Every single time. Chapter 2. Your brain's two operating systems. Your brain isn't one thing. It's more like a company where the departments never talk to each other. The part of your brain that generates thoughts is like the creative department. It's constantly producing ideas, making connections, solving problems. It works in concepts, images, feelings, not words. This is what creates your 3 a.m. genius mode. Then there's the part that handles speech. This is your translation department. It has to take all those rich, colorful thoughts and squeeze them into one word after another. One word at a time. Imagine trying to describe a dream. The dream happens all at once. Colors, emotions, concepts, all simultaneous. But when you try to tell someone about it, you have to pick a starting point, a middle, an end. You have to flatten the whole experience into a sequence. That's what's happening every time you speak. Your beautiful, complex, multidimensional thoughts are getting squashed into a one-dimensional line of words. It's like trying to explain a symphony using only a kazoo. The wonder isn't that we struggle. The wonder is that we manage to communicate at all. Chapter 3. The 7-second bottleneck. Your working memory is basically a juggler, and it can only handle about 7 things at once. This has been known for decades, and it explains why you lose track mid-sentence. While you're speaking, your brain is simultaneously juggling what you just said, what you're currently saying, what you're about to say, who you're talking to, how they're reacting, what point you're trying to make, and whether you're making sense. Count those. That's already 7 things. Now add any nervousness, any distraction, any complex idea that needs multiple points to explain. Your juggler just dropped everything. Here's where it gets really interesting. When you're thinking alone, you don't need to juggle all these balls. Your brain can focus purely on the ideas. But speaking adds at least 4 extra things to keep track of. This is why you blank out mid-sentence. It's not that you forgot what you were saying. It's that your brain literally ran out of space. You're not stupid. You're just running too many programs at once. Chapter 4. The Translation Catastrophe. Thoughts aren't made of words. This is the part that breaks people's brains. Your internal thoughts are actually concepts, patterns, relationships, feelings. When you think about your coffee this morning, you don't think the words, hot brown liquid in ceramic container. You experience the warmth, the smell, the ritual, the comfort, all at the same time. But when someone asks about your morning, now you need words. And words are terrible at capturing experience. Here's an experiment philosophers love. Try to describe the color blue to someone who's never seen color. Go ahead. I'll wait. Impossible, right? That's what you're trying to do every time you speak. Translate pure experience into these arbitrary mouth sounds we call words. The translation disaster happens in real time. Your concept-based thought has to find words. Those words have to follow grammar rules, fit social expectations, make logical sense, and convey your original meaning. It's like playing telephone with yourself. No wonder something always gets lost in translation. Chapter 5. When performance becomes performer. Thinking too much about how you're speaking can definitely mess you up. They call this the self-monitoring effect, and it's tricky. You start speaking. You notice you're not speaking perfectly. You start watching yourself. Now, part of your attention is on monitoring instead of just speaking. It's like trying to walk downstairs while staring at your feet. Suddenly you're less smooth than when you just walked naturally. Here's what actually happens. Some self-awareness helps. You need to gauge if people understand you. But too much monitoring, that's when things fall apart. Job interviews, first dates, important presentations. These situations naturally make us hyper-aware of ourselves. It's not just nerves. It's splitting your attention between what you're saying and how you're saying it. When you're alone, talking to yourself, no audience to monitor for. When you're with your best friend, you're comfortable, so less self-conscious. But when you're with people you want to impress, your inner critic gets louder. Now here's the interesting part. The solution isn't to never self-monitor. That would make you oblivious to your audience. The sweet spot is gentle awareness without harsh judgment. Want to level up your people skills? Join our YouTube membership for early access to scripts, input on future topics, and connection with a community that gets the social struggle. Click join below and let's master human interaction together. Chapter 6. The Flow State Secret. You know when you speak perfectly? When you forget you're speaking. Flow state isn't just for athletes and artists. It's the secret to natural speech. Think about the last time you were passionately explaining something you love. Video games, your favorite show, that weird history fact you're obsessed with. You were eloquent as hell. Because you weren't thinking about speaking. You were thinking about the thing. Here's what happens when you're in the zone. The overthinking part of your brain actually quiets down. The self-monitoring shuts off. The inner critic takes a coffee break. Suddenly, the translation from thought to speech happens automatically, smoothly, naturally. This explains why some people speak better after a drink. It's not making them smarter. It's just quieting their inner critic. But you don't need substances. You need passion, interest, or simply the permission to not be perfect. Flow state is when you finally stop trying to sound smart and accidentally become brilliant. Chapter 7. The Practice Paradox. Stop rehearsing conversations in your head. You're making it worse. Here's what we know about practice. Mental rehearsal without physical speech doesn't transfer. It's like practicing swimming on dry land. You're getting really good at the wrong thing. When you rehearse in your head, you're practicing at thought speed, with perfect working memory and zero translation required. Then reality hits. The actual conversation happens at speech speed, with limited working memory, requiring real-time translation. You prepared for a different game entirely. Plus, rehearsal creates expectations. Now you're not just trying to speak, You're trying to remember your script while adapting to reality. You've added another juggling ball to an already full routine. Here's something profound. Perfect preparation prevents presence. The more you rehearse, the less you can respond. Real conversation isn't a performance. It's jazz. Chapter 8. Building your bridge. Forget fixing your speaking. Start building a bridge instead. Here's the first technique that actually works. Chunk and pause. Instead of trying to say everything at once, deliver one complete thought. Pause. Let it land. Then the next thought. You're not speaking slower. You're giving your translation system time to catch up. Second technique, the anchor word method. Before speaking, identify 3 key words that represent your main points. Just 3 words. Not sentences, not ideas, words. These become your anchors. When you get lost, return to an anchor. Third discovery, embrace the pause. That moment when you're searching for words, don't fill it with or like. Just pause. Silence isn't empty. It's where thoughts become words. Finally, start with the point. Whatever you're trying to say the conclusion first. Then explain. This removes the pressure of building to something. You can't forget your destination if you've already arrived. Chapter 9. The Permission Protocol. You need to hear this. You have permission to speak imperfectly. The gap between thought and speech isn't a bug to fix. It's the human condition. Every person you admire for their eloquence, they have the same gap. They've just stopped apologizing for it. Here's the permission protocol. Give yourself permission to pause mid-sentence. Permission to say, let me rethink that. Permission to be a human translator instead of a perfect machine. You know what's actually impressive? Not perfect speech. It's authentic translation. When someone struggles to find the right word and then finds it, that's beautiful. That's real. That's connection. Your imperfect speech is more valuable than your perfect thoughts. Because imperfect speech exists in the world, perfect thoughts die in your head. Stop trying to eliminate the gap. Start dancing with it. Chapter 10. Your new operating manual. You're not broken. You're bilingual. You speak 2 languages, thought and speech. They run at different speeds, use different rules, serve different purposes. Expecting them to match perfectly is like expecting your dreams to follow grammar rules. Here's your new operating manual. Your thoughts are the rough draft. Your speech is the edited version. Neither is the real you. Both are. When you feel that gap, that frustration, that sense of, this sounded better in my head, that's not failure. That's proof your mind is bigger than your mouth. That's evidence of richness, not poverty. The goal isn't perfect translation. The goal is generous translation. Generous to yourself when words don't come. Generous to others when they struggle too. We're all doing our best with Stone Age hardware and Space Age software. Your 3 a.m. genius isn't gone during the day. It's just speaking a different language. And now you're the translator who finally understands both. You were never bad at speaking. You were just great at thinking. And that's what makes us beautifully human. Learn something new? Hit that like button, share it with others, tap subscribe, and stick around for more. Got thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comments.